We have a huge problem in marketing, and I know a lot of people talk to me about this, and it's a very, very big issue. So marketing is the process of creating awareness, building awareness, creating interest, and then that leads to a sale. It leads to a sale. But what I see is a lot of marketing right now is focusing on the few steps before the sale. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You need a process to convert people from interest to a sale. That's absolutely fantastic, absolutely solid. But what we're missing in this is that top end stuff, the stuff that creates the pond to fish in. Let me give you an example. If you're a startup, year one, you start and you go like hell to get business and fight through, and you really put a ton of energy into it to build on it. Then year two, you're really pushing hard, getting out there, putting your name out there. And yet year three, it feels like things are starting to come together. And year four and year five, you're flying. Now, if you stop that activity to just get your name out there, year four and year five and year six are a disaster. And what happens is businesses go into this cycle. And the cycle is we get a load of new business, we're really, really busy, so we forget the top end creating the pond to fish in activity. They forget it, they put it to one side, and they're so busy, that's what they do. They get on with the work. Then the work dries up, and suddenly what they have to do is they have to catch more fish. They have to go out and catch more fish. And if there's fish in the pond, great. If there's not, then crap. But usually what happens is they go after the very, very difficult fish, the stuff that's swimming around and it's a bit elusive, and they pursue it and get it over the line and then regret it because some of it was just not core work or difficult. So marketing is about creating a bigger pond and fishing in it. It's finding a big pond and catching the fish in it. And what we do is we focus on catching fish, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely essential. You know, if you don't get sales from marketing, you need to look at your marketing. But at the same time, if I had an email list of 10,000 people and I didn't do any effort to build that list or keep growing it list, what would happen to that list? It would decline. And this is the big problem in marketing, where we're either one end of the spectrum is focusing on all the kind of brand and awareness and all this kind of stuff. Fantastic, but then they're not connecting it to the sales. So the sales are converting independently of the pond work, the pond activity, or growing the pond to fish in. And then you've got the opposite side. You've got the people who are fishing in the same pond, and they're getting diminishing returns. You see this in Facebook ads. Facebook ads is a really easy way to explain this. You know, if you run an ad for 10 days, your results will start to diminish. You need to refresh the ad. You need to reach a wider audience. That's just the way it works. It's common sense. And you don't see farmers trying to harvest without planting seeds. And this is the major, major problem in marketing. And the solution, and it's a tough solution, because if you've been focused on just getting the results all the time, you have to start thinking about the bigger picture. What happens in 3, 4, 5 years' time when this activity is either saturated or we've exhausted it, and we then have to think about it again. You can think ahead of time and start thinking about, how do we grow this pond when this one dries up? Or how do we expand this one? How do we become more relevant to this one? It's about being joined up. It's about understanding that people don't buy something the first time they've seen it. They want to know vaguely about it. People want to know that it's relevant to them. People want to trust it. And how do you trust something? Or how do you get people to believe in what you're doing? They have to see it more often. And this is stuff at the top. And that's why, despite all the social media ads that we've got these days, it's interesting that still, if you look at some of the stats, and I can put a link to them somewhere in the description, if you look at the stats, you'll see that some of the stuff that's old-fashioned still performs better than PPC. In fact, Mark Ritzen's got some great talks on this, so I'll put a link to his stuff because it's got all of it in there. But it is a common problem, and marketing agencies know this, but The problem is the money is on the output, the money's on the results. But really the bigger conversation is, if you want better results, you have to look at sorting out your pond. You have to build your fishing pond. You have to build the space and the activities that get more people into the space you can convert. So the big problem with marketing is we're trying to harvest without sowing any seeds.